Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop Quick Tip. Today we're going to do a pretty common one. A lot of us are amateur photographers and that, do it as a hobby and so forth. And we'll wind up doing photo shoots, in a spare bedroom or a garage space. And, we don't have the luxury of a lot of room when we do these shoots. And our backdrop's a little too small and badly wrinkled because we got to take it up and down every time we do a shoot. And so I've got a perfect example here of a typical bedroom shoot. And if we look in here, we can see the backdrop is in bad need of ironing. A lot of wrinkles. It's too small for the image there. So we've got to do a lot of work here to make this image workable. And so I'm going to take you along for the trip. And hopefully we'll all learn a few techniques here or there. And as if anything in Photoshop, there are 26 different ways to do the same thing. So my way is not the correct way. It's not anybody. It's just my method, okay? So I look at this and I go, okay, I got to expand the background. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to use the rectangular selection tool. And I'm going to draw out a rectangular selection just to expand the background there. I'm going to come up to the selection here, and I'm going to select the add to selection, which is the second selection here, and I'm going to go ahead and continue on down, okay, making sure I don't cut into her. And then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to expand in, okay, so that's looking good. And I'll even do the bottom to get that done too. So, okay, so now I have the area all around the backdrop selected here in a rectangular fashion. And now I'm just going to turn around and let Photoshop content aware fill this so that I can get the backdrop expanded all around the subject. So I'll go up to Edit and Content Aware Fill. And Photoshop's going to calculate, and you can see, bingo bango, it did a bang-up job of expanding the background around the subject. So I'll just accept that, and then Command and Control D to deselect. So now we've already done a lot of hard work, and so that's really making things good. So the next thing I need to do is I need to turn around and actually separate the backdrop from the subject, so that we can, get the wrinkles out of the backdrop. And in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and select subject on this. Actually, I'm going to take the two layers first when I think about it, and I'm going to flatten the layers. So come in and merge layers. And now I have one layer with the backdrop expanded in it. Okay, so the next thing is I want to select the subject. So I'm going to go up to Select and Subject. And let Photoshop do its thing. And it's done a pretty good job. It's got a little too far on the stool. So we're going to deselect by holding the Alt or Option key here. And I'm going to go collect the quick selection and I'm going to remove the excess by holding the Alt or Option to deselect there. Okay, now we may have to do a little work here. I missed a little bit of the heel, so we'll just come down and get the heel put in. And we don't have to be perfect, okay, because this is just a way of isolating it. We've got the thing here, so I'm going to add it right in here. There we go. And that's good enough for our purposes. Now what I want to do is I want to expand the selection so I get her and a little more. So go up to Select, Modify, and Expand. 10 pixels for this image would probably be good. And that causes the selection to expand around. As you can see, we have a little bit of space between the subject and that. And that helps us out for our content aware fill. Okay. All right. So So now we're going to do a little content aware fill, and I am going to, let's see here. I don't want to lose what I have here, so I'll go Command and Control J. That puts the subject on its own layer. Okay, and I want to click and hold to get the selection on the background layer. Then I'm going to say Edit Content Aware Fill. It's going to do its thing, and lo and behold, there we go. So that's done great. I'm going to turn off all the subject layers. And so that filled in beautifully. I'm going to hit Command and Control D to deselect. Now I'm going to take the last two layers, hit the Command and Control, select both of them, and we're going to merge them together. Merge layers. Okay, so now we have down there, we've got the subject and we've got the background. So we're getting there, we're getting progress. I need to do this one more time. I'm going to use the rectangular selection tool, come in, make a selection. I'll even do it here. Actually, I'll just take the whole bottom and I'll go Edit, Content Aware, and it does its calculations and it's done a nice job. Okay, Command and Control D to deselect. Okay, so that's looking good. I've got a pretty good looking background now. I'm going to take the last two layers, select them both, and then I'm going to merge the layers. Okay, so now we have a background layer and we've got the subject on a separate layer. So now we need to still get the wrinkles out of this backdrop. And in order to do that, we're going to use a little magical blur. Try to get things all put together. So we're going to go up to Filter, and then we're going to go to Blur, and I'm just going to do a Gaussian blur, nothing fancy here. And I don't want to go too high, so I start at 0.1, and then I just move it and release it and see the effect until I get the wrinkles out of the canvas. So just keep moving it along. Okay. And there I'm starting to lose it at 33. And that's starting to get better. Starting to smooth out. 100. 179. That's not bad. And I can go as far as I want to smooth out the background. And I think 694 is pretty good there on smoothing it out. And I hit OK. And so now we have our subject and our backdrop has been de-wrinkled and filled in. Okay, so the last step to do, okay, is just a little touch up on the masks. Okay, you see we have a little stray here where we have a little bit in this area here, so we would have to do a little bit of masking. Throw a mask on the layer. Oops, wrong one. Check on this, mask on this one, and then we would turn around and painting in black. D for defaults with the brush. Okay, we can change my brush size smaller, and then we would just come in and do some cleanup. Okay, and of course you would do much more diligent of a job than I am. Maybe change the hardness of your brush, and just carefully come into the area, use your brush, and then just carefully paint in where you need to. Okay. And you get a nice selection. And again, you would do a much nicer job than I'm doing here quickly in a video. And you don't want to turn around and have me waste your time. Okay, so finish that up. All right, so there we go. Okay, so now we have our subject isolated on a nice de-wrinkled backdrop and a seamed everything, and now we can turn around and do our final edits as we would do normally. But that's basically it. So the technique, again, is a very simple one. Could be a little tedious sometimes, But basically, I went through, I expanded the background by content-aware fill, and then I turned around and just did a select subject, blurred the background till the seamless paper turned into a de-wrinkled paper, and then put the subject back on. So, pretty easy to do. So, hopefully you guys got the idea. And until next week, you guys take care.